But now old Dolius appeared in the bright doorway with his sons, work stained from the field. Laertes' housekeeper, who reared the boys and tended Dolius in his bent age, had gone to fetch them in. When it came over them who the stranger was, they halted in astonishment. Odysseus hid an easy tone with them. Said he, "Sit down and help yourselves, shake off your wonder. Here we've been waiting for you all this time, and our mouths watering for good roast pig." But Dolius came forward, arms outstretched, and kissed Odysseus' hand at the wrist bone, crying out, "Dear master, you returned. You came to us again. How we had missed you. We thought you lost. The gods themselves have brought you. Welcome, welcome. Health and blessings on you. And tell me now just one thing more. Penelope, does she know yet that you are on the island? Or should we send a messenger?" Odysseus gruffly said, "Old man, she knows. Is it for you to think of her?" So Dolius quietly took a smooth bench at the table, and in their turn his sons welcomed Odysseus, kissing his hands. And each went to his chair beside his father. Thus our friends were occupied in Laertes' house at noon. Meanwhile, to the four quarters of the town the news ran. Bloody death had caught the suitors, and men and women in a murmuring crowd gathered before Odysseus' hall. They gave burial to the piteous dead, or bore the bodies of young men from other islands down to the port, thence to be ferried home. Then all the men went grieving to assembly, and being seated rank by rank, grew still. As old Eupeithes rose to address them, pain lay in him like a brand for Antinous, the first man that Odysseus brought down, and tears flowed for his son as he began. "Heroic feats that fellow did for us Achaeans, friends. Good spearmen by the shipload he led to war and lost ships and men, and once ashore again killed these who were the island's pride. Up with you, after him, before he can take flight to Pylos town or hide at Elis under Achaean law. We'd be disgraced forever, mocked for generations if we cannot avenge our son's blood and our brothers'. Life would turn to ashes, at least for me. Rather be dead and join the dead. I say we ought to follow now, or they'll gain time and make the crossing." His appeal, his tears, moved all the gentry listening there. But now they saw the crier and the minstrel come from Odysseus' hall, where they had slept. The two men stood before the curious crowd, and Medon said, "Now hear me, men of Ithaca. When these hard deeds were done by Lord Odysseus, the immortal gods were not far off. I saw with my own eyes someone divine who fought beside him, in the shape and dress of Mentor. It was a god who shone before Odysseus, a god who swept the suitors down the hall, dying in droves." At this, pale fear assailed them, and next they heard again the old forecaster, Halitherses Mastorides. Alone he saw the field of time past and to come. In his anxiety for them he said, "Ithacans, now listen to what I say. Friends, by your own fault these deaths came to pass. You would not heed me, nor the captain, Mentor, would not put down the riot of your sons. Heroic feats they did, all wantonly raiding a great man's flocks, dishonoring his queen, because they thought he'd come no more. Let matters rest, do as I urge. No chase, or he who wants a bloody end will find it." The greater number stood up shouting aye, but many held fast, sitting all together, in no mind to agree with him. Eupeithes had won them to his side. They ran for arms, clapped on their bronze, and mustered under Eupeithes at the town gate for his mad foray. Vengeance would be his, he thought, for his son's murder, but that day held bloody death for him, and no return.